Hey guys, welcome back to One Juicy Girl LLC, my channel. Make sure you like and subscribe and click the notification bell to get notifications for the next video, part 3. Back with part 2 of Surviving a Narcissist. And I wanted to go into more detail this time of like where I left off. I remember I said like I got in the accident and I said his family, I was saying like his family, he claimed his family was, came from like a lot of money and he had like $11,000 in his savings and whatever. But he was so like furious of the, when I got into the wreck, and it wasn't even that bad. Like I said, it was like a fender bender and it wasn't my fault. But of course he made it seem like it was my fault. So going to the family, I'm going to start with that. So when I met him, he claimed that his family, they came from money. And because his dad was in law enforcement and his mom was like an accountant or something. So he said he got his record expunged. So coming to find out that that wasn't even true. Like he's still a felon. Hence the job he has at the grocery store. Because he also mentioned he went to like Tennessee State, the university, and he has a HR degree, a human resources degree. I think like a bachelor's in human resources. And I feel so stupid to have believed all of that because I'm like, but anyway. So the day of the accident, we went to one of his family's gatherings. He said he was like, don't tell my family that you wrecked my car. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to tell them I wrecked your car, you know. It's okay. I mean, I wasn't planning on telling them I wrecked your car. Like, trying to make me feel bad. He was like, because all they're going to say is, she's breaking stuff already. She's tearing up your stuff already. She's a liability. I'm like, I got kind of offended. I'm like, wait, you just said your family has all of this, but they're going to say that because I got into an accident that I'm a liability or I'm careless, etc. Like, what? So anyway, a few days after that situation, I was home chilling. He came to my house and he was like kind of under the influence and telling me how people was telling him that I was still talking to my ex. And I tried to explain to him, I'm like, I'm not talking to my ex. I don't know where you're getting this from. And at the time, I didn't know that it was, you know, him trying to belittle me and like think that I'm doing something wrong when I'm clearly not. So he just started yelling and I'm just sitting there like, what the hell is this guy talking about? Like, I'm not talking to nobody. You got me in this bubble. Like, I'm not talking to anyone. So I was sitting on my couch and I remember it, I wouldn't say like yesterday, but I remember the details. And it was just like, I'm sitting on my couch and out of nowhere, he just like slapped the fuck out of me. Excuse my language because I did swear a lot in the last video. I didn't want to do that in this video, but he slapped me like, this is when the abuse, and I'm like, wait a minute. And I'm just so shocked. I'm seriously in shock right now because I'm like, where did that come from? I've never been in a situation where, you know, someone just hit me out of the blue or anything. Like, it was just so random. So, like I said, I didn't even see that coming. So then after that, I'm like, well, dude, you need to get out. Like, you need to go. Like, chill out. Like, get out my house type thing. So I get up. I had something in my hand. And I was finna walk to my room, and I get up and walk past him. He was at the door, like getting ready to leave. So I'm like, you need to go. I walk past him. Like I said, I had something in my hand, and this crazy dude like put me in like a chokehold at the door, and was like for like, I would say like a couple seconds, and then it made me drop what I had and was basically like still cussing me out. And I'm like, what the freak? Like, wait a minute. And then he lets me go. I'm like, leave. So I go back and sit on the couch, and my phone is sitting right there. And he picks up my phone and throws it at the wall and breaks it. Now, it didn't shatter into pieces, but it was like the screen, like it was damaged so bad that I can't even get it replaced right now. Like, everywhere I went to get it fixed, they said it's impossible to repair. That's how hard he threw my phone into the wall. And this is the iPhone X, so it was all paid off too. Like, I was proud of myself for doing that. I got me and my X one, and and he threw my phone and damaged it so bad where I couldn't even get it replaced. And mind you, the screen did not crack. It was like internal damage. That's how hard it hit the wall. I was livid at this point. I was so like mad. This man was literally mad at himself and took his anger out on me and broke my property. I don't get that shit. Trying to keep the story into like a flow so it won't be all over the place because it's so much. So I'm gonna go into a little bit more into the abuse, and then I'll get back to, you know, some more of the story. Well, this is the story, but so like about a day or two after that situation happened, I had a hair appointment. So I was at the hair appointment getting my hair fixed. And I'm at my hair appointment and I run into my ex. Now, and I'm so nervous and terrified. Like, even my ex told, like, he was like, you were acting so weird and all of that. And we talked for like 2 minutes, and then like I went my separate ways. So the dude came to my house and was like an hour later than I get there, and still like accuses me of talking to my aunt. At this point, I'm like, is this motherfucker following me? Like, is he following me where I'm at? Like, that's weird that, you know, I just ran. But of course, I'm still gonna say no, because I'm not. Like I said, I'm not talking to him. It was so freaking random. All of this was random. He was literally like obsessed with me and my ex relationship. It was kind of sickening just thinking about it now. Super sickening how obsessed he was with me and him, like our relationship. And he was obsessed with him. Like, super weird. So, he was yelling like a crazy person, like trying to, like, you're still talking to, trying to make me look stupid and playing both sides of the fence. I'm like, who are you hearing this from? He claims he's hearing it from the mutual person that we knew. And I'm like, how could they say I'm talking to anyone and they don't know me or the situation? Like, how? And I'm pretty sure my ex is not going back and telling them that he's talking to me if he did. So I'm like, that's kind of like childish. But come to find out, this was all in his like weird head. So I'm like, no, I'm not talking to him. Then he starts packing up what little stuff he had at my house. And he had like a PS4 or whatever. He put it in his backpack. And I'm just sitting there. I'm like so drained and exhausted at this point. I'm if you want to get leave, then just leave. Like, you ain't gotta. Obviously, this man had something else going on. But if you just want to leave, you could go at this point. Like, just go, because like this shit is, it's becoming draining, because you keep accusing me of stuff that I'm not doing, and then you keep blaming me for stuff that is not my fault. So I'm sitting on the bed and he's packing up his stuff. I'm like, okay, I didn't talk to him, but okay. So out of nowhere, this man, the backpack he had the game in, he puts it in his backpack and just hits me across the face with the backpack. And then he pulls me by my hair. Mind you, I just left a hair appointment. Pulled me by my hair, fucks up the shit I just got done, pulls me by my hair and started punching me on my sides. For no reason. I'm surprised I'm not in jail, but it's just for the simple fact that I know a lot of women would be like, you're dumb and why didn't you just leave? But if anyone has ever been in a situation like this, like, you don't understand how just scared you are, or just, I was like scared of this person, and I'm not scared of no one, but how they manipulate, how narcissists manipulate and make you feel like you don't understand. Like, it is how they just sit and make you feel like they manipulate you to the point where you are scared of them. So I know, like, y'all probably say I'm dumb, I'm stupid, you should have just leave them. And no one knew this. So all the people I was talking to at the time, no one knew this until after the situation. So I didn't tell anyone until after, because it was so embarrassing. And like I said, I couldn't reach out to my friends, my ex, no one. Like, his family, my family, definitely no. So I didn't reach out to any. And that time was the last time he touched me, because it's still a lot that goes on until like the very end, because narcissists, they try to linger until they feel that you know too much. And okay, so about 3-4 days had went by. I went without a phone for like a minute. Like, it was too long. So he had like an extra little, like, it was like an iPhone 6 or something he let me use, but I'm like, dude, I don't want to use this freaking phone. Like, I want the phone that I had. So I didn't have a phone. I didn't put my social media on that phone. I text like one friend from that phone just to let her know, because I knew we were texting at the time when my phone was broken. So I text her, and I'm like, why are you not paying for me a phone? Like, you got 11 racks in the bank. Like, you owe me. Like, you owe me. So he beat around the bush, and he was like, I gotta wait till payday. I'm like, broke ass nigga, if you have this in your savings, then what's the problem with getting me a phone? Now, you had no problem breaking my stuff, but it's a problem with replacing it. That's why you don't touch people's things. Like, you know, at this point, I'm like a little fed up. I'm like, it's not making sense. So this is, everything is fading now. So from this point on, everything is going to go downhill. So we go to T-Mobile and I get on a phone plan with my mother, thank God. And I changed my phone number, and my phone was about $250. And I'm so mad because the phone that I got, it wasn't even amounting to the phone that he broke. But I was like, you know what? It's mine, whatever. And I hated that phone. I had to get me a new phone because I had moved on. Like, it reminded me too much. Now, ugh. But he gave me the money. And he got upset because he counted the money. He was literally sitting in his driver's seat, counting the money. He was like, man, this shit too much. This shit too much. Here, dog. Here, $300. I gave you $50 more. You know how much that phone was? Like, dude, you do realize I'm not even done paying off this phone? Do you realize you're not paying nothing that for what you broke? You're literally paying like 10%. So just thinking about this shit makes me so sick to my stomach. Like, ew. Ugh. So weeks go by. So that's the phone situation. Ugh. And the abuse and how he broke my stuff, and yeah. So weeks go by, and I'm still in this bubble. And like, I don't really talk to anyone. Mind you, I work with some of my friends that I was, close to. And they don't like this person who I was dealing with. The narcissist, they don't like him. But so every day, he's like telling me, leave that job, something gonna happen, and I'm gonna be a part of it, and I'm trying to protect you and all this. And I'm like, dude, I'm not finna leave my job, bro. You couldn't even pay for $300 like a down payment on a phone. Like, I'm not finna leave my job. And then the nigga like really said, like, I'll take care of you. Ooh, I'm glad I wasn't that damn stupid. I'm not gonna say I wasn't a little bit, but nah, bro, you're not finna stop my livelihood on top of like trying to take advantage of the situation, take control. No, like, no. And I love my job. Like, what I do now, I love what I do. So it's just like, no. So eventually he gave me like an ultimatum. You're either gonna find another job or stop working, or you're going to, or I'm gonna leave. He was like, I talked to my family and they said, yeah, you should leave this job. She ain't no good for you. She trying to put you in a situation that you shouldn't be in. You gonna get in trouble again. And I'm sitting here like, I met his family a few times by this time, and I'm like, damn, are these motherfuckers really ain't shit? Like, if they saying this about me, but they, I don't know. Like, this is weird. It's so weird. Like, these motherfuckers really ain't shit if they said, I ain't never thought about nobody like this, or anyone who, like, they don't even know me. How can they say something like that about me? I think, it's fibs, but who knows? Maybe they were. Mm-hmm. So on that, like, night he left or whatever, I'm like, cool. So now I'm starting to realize, now I'm waking up, like, the abuse, breaking my stuff, getting upset with me for every little thing, being obsessed with me and my ex. Now I'm waking up. This dude left, hasn't called or said anything. And I'm like, wait a minute. He leaves at these times. He's always like doing this, doing that. Like, just waking up, trying to, like, I'm realizing this person has something else going on. I mean, I'm woke, but at the same time, I'm scared. So it's just like, I'm not stupid. I done been in situations where guys cheated or a guy cheated. And so I know the signs and stuff. So then I asked him to do me a favor just to see the reaction. And so I'm like, can you do me a favor? And I really literally forget what the favor is. I try to block out most of this in my mind. But he was like, sure. And I told him the favor. And he didn't like what I said or how I said it. This dude text me this long text message say, I'm leaving, you will never see me again, woo woo. And I'm like, you know how you don't do anything and like you really want to know, like, what did I do? So I called him from a different number. Like, he blocked me off everything, and he tried to like make me feel that I was like low, unworthy, stupid, all that. So, you know, he said that he was like taking all his stuff out of my crib, and he did just that. And I'm like, okay. So he did find a way to contact me. I think it was through some social media. Mind you, he didn't really have social media, so all his pages were like bogus pages, like no pictures, no nothing. It's just like so he could be nosy off of people's pages, so, or on other people's pages, like look on pages. So so he was just like telling me, he was like, oh, I'm with my dad trying to look for a place and all of this. And I'm like, okay. This guy got mad at me because I didn't say, oh, you could come and stay with me. No. I'm like, oh, okay, that's good. So eventually, you know, he came back around. I think we went out to eat, and he was like trying to explain to me something. I really, like, I'm trying to remember for you guys, but this situation, we went somewhere out to eat, and he was like trying to explain to me what happened, like how he was sorry and stuff. I'm like, okay, yeah. So like a week or two later, we kicking it, everything was whatever, it was cool, I guess. So he spends the night at my place. Next thing you know, like 5-6 a.m. He woke me up, like kind of in a panic, like, dude. And I'm like, what's up? He was like, his car was vandalized. Dude, I wish I could put pictures up, but I do not want to expose like who it is or whatever, because everyone is anonymous in here. He said his car was vandalized. I'm like, why would your car be vandalized if you're not doing anything? Like, so I went outside. I see this car. It was clearly a chick did it. It had like in the driver's side, it had like keyed in there, bitch, cheater. Then the front window busted. It wasn't bust like it broke in, but like they left the bricks right there. So she tried to bust the window open. And then it was like a dent in the like between the passenger and driver door, like not passenger, the rear door and the driver's door. He was heated. Why he said that my friends did it. He said, I can't deal with this. Your people did this to my car. Now, if any of my people did that to your car, sir, you wouldn't have a fucking car. 1. 2, why would they put that much energy into you? 3, my car was right behind yours and it wasn't touched. So tell me how this is making sense. So it was my fault his car got vandalized. Come to find out, I think his ex-wife or wife or somebody vandalized his car. And I mean, shit, that's on you, boo. Like, you know, I told him a spot where you could get your window fixed, and he had to pay like $400 to get the front window fixed. And then people was telling him like $1,500. He got to get a new door. That was a lot of damage. It was probably more damage than the fender bender. Karma's a bitch. So he leaves like that night. Well, he claims like he was talking to his like dad on the phone. And he was like, yeah, it was over by her house. It was over by her house. Yeah. And he was like, my dad said I should leave if it's all this drama over by your house. Bitch. Nigga. First of all, someone knows where I stay. 1. And they don't know where I stay because of me. They know it because of you. So you brought drama to my house. Then he leaves and claims he went by his baby mom's house and bust out her windows. Or ex-wife, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. And I'm like, why would you do that if you don't know who did it? So then he kind of like apologizes. I thought it was your people and all of this. And I'm like, dude, my people, you wouldn't have a car, bro. Like why would they put, what are you, you're not that important to them to do something like this. Why? It doesn't make sense. A couple days go by. And like I said, this is the last straw. So this kind of like the end of me ever seeing him again. Yeah, this is the end of me ever seeing him again. So, I got off of work. He's like, you know, let's grab something to eat. I'm like, cool. I went to Zaza's. I'll never forget this day. Because this is the day where I got like my affirmation, like from God, for real. So I'm like, you want this, but where's your money? He was like, you always acting broke and this and this. And I'm like, dude, you're a grown man. You're supposed to be paying for my food in reality, but where's your cash so I can get the food? So he gave me some money. He was like, you're always acting broke. I'm tired of this. And woo. I'm like, dude, do you want the food or not? Like, I'm finna go. So, I'm like, I got other responsibilities. You don't have no responsibilities, bro. So he gave me like $20 and I left. I went to Zaza's. I'll never forget the details of this. Like I said, because this is when I got my from above for real. I called my aunt as I was walking to the car. And I'm like, this guy is always blaming me for stuff. Like, he keeps blaming me. Like, what happened to his car? He's blaming me. I don't know where this is coming from. She was like, you need to let that go now. I don't usually listen to her like that, but that day, I listened. She was like, you need to let that go. I'm like, you're right. He has to go. Hung up. Went to Zaza's. Got the food. I called him. Right? Something told me to call him. And I'm like, oh shit. Like, it just slipped out. Oh, I forgot this food. He cussed me out. He was like, you only think about yourself. And I'm like, dude, all I have to do, I ordered it already. I just forgot it. So it's going to take me a couple more minutes to get there. Like, he's like, you only think about yourself, man. Fuck this shit. Bye. And all of this. I'm like, okay. So I'm driving. Now thinking about what my aunt said, thinking about this last phone call we had. And I'm like, this is not the way my life is supposed to go. Like, I've never been cussed out this many times. I've never been yelled at like this in no relationship. Like, where is this coming from? Like, what is going on? So I'm like, something has to give. So I got back home, gave him his food, got in the shower. When I came out the shower, he was like, do you think we're compatible? And when I say, I'm like, you know what? That's a good question. Because I was kind of thinking the same thing. I said, not really. I'm like, no. He said, quote him, narcissist, you're costing me too much money. You're a liability to my life, and I'm leaving. Say no more. I said, okay. And I literally helped him get every little thing that he had in my house out. And I had met him downstairs. And I'm like, I kind of had a second thought, but I'm like, this. And I went back inside. And I did text him. The reason why I texted him is because he borrowed something from me. And I was trying to get it. He actually borrowed like a TV from me, talking about his cousin needed it, right? And I'm like, your cousin needs a TV? But I said, fuck it, because I had plenty of TVs. I'm not. And he never gave it back. So I did text him, and I'm like, what about my TV? And I left it alone. I probably will never see that TV again. Honestly, I don't care. I closed that chapter in my life. But it is still not over. It's still a part 3. And I'm realizing, like, maybe it might just be 3 parts. I don't know. Like I said, it's a lot. I don't want to, like, bore people. But it is an aftermath of it. And, yeah. Well, you guys, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. And click the notification bell for part 3.